Visalaw is the first immigration intelligence platform built by immigration lawyers for immigration lawyers. We built it to support every area of an immigration law firm's work, not just research, not just drafting, but the full practice of immigration law, restoring attorneys' time for client advocacy. It starts with data. Visalaw AI is built on the largest and most robust immigration law dataset available, curated by immigration attorneys and continuously updated. Every feature, workflow, and AI capability is grounded in authoritative immigration law. The platform is built with enterprise-grade security, and customer data is never retained or used to train AI models. Our improved case law tools deliver faster, deeper legal analysis with clear authority, stronger context, and reliable citations you can trust. Our new research agent goes further. It identifies your practice area, checks live government sources for policy changes through GovSync, searches the full catalog of US case law, statutes, and regulations when needed, and verifies every citation before results reach you. Visalaw AI. This is immigration intelligence you can trust.
Fantastic, and good morning, good afternoon. Tyler, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you, Ian?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm excited to talk about EB2 NIW drafting today with you and show everybody how Visalaw AI helps us in that drafting process. It can take what could be normally a multiple hour process and cut it down to 20 minutes to get that first draft. Obviously, that is a huge amount of time savings. We've done this with all sorts of different process types. I think this is the first time that we're demoing the drafting capability with EB2 NIWs. And we know from our research, we're doing a lot more of these across the country, and they're getting a lot more denials at the same time, and it's never been harder. We know we know the updates that come down. It seems like every week at this point, and so having a really well prepared, being able to get the first draft done so that you can work on strategy, so you can work on editing, so you can get maybe additional documents as well if you need that from your client early on in the process is a huge advantage to have in your firm, whether you're a solo attorney, whether you're working as a part of a team, or whether you're even part of a even larger organization. And so we're going to go over that today. On Tuesday, we talked about some of the legal research capabilities that Visalaw AI has, some of the ways that you can use AI, immigration-specific AI, to help organize your case, to prepare you on the front end before you even step into the drafting landscape, and give you some ideas. There's many applications that you can use AI with these process types. We just gave you a few ideas. We gave you some prompts. If you are interested in any of those and you did not attend the Tuesday session, send me an email. I'll put my email in the chat here in a second, and I will get you not only the recording, but also a copy of the things that we used and some additional ones as well that you can use in your practice. Copy and paste, super simple stuff. So Tyler, for anybody who's not familiar with Visalaw AI, before we step into the drafting process, can you give us a rundown on what Visalaw AI is, what we stand for, what we do?
Yeah, absolutely. So Visalaw AI, we are an immigration intelligence platform. So we're one platform powered by AI, very specific to the practice of immigration law, designed to give you support throughout the lifespan of the case. So unlike other AI tools on the market, we don't just do AI legal research and AI chats. We also don't do just AI petition and brief drafting. We're going to be that one platform focused on the entire workflow of a case, to do all of the chat functionality, the research functionality, case preparation and strategy, but also the actual writing of the petition letters as well.
Absolutely. And time saving is just the tip of the iceberg. There is the additional quality that you get by, we all know, we remember in school, when you were able to get your projects done a little bit earlier, have a couple of days to review it, do some edits. That's always when you got the best grade, and I think that's sort of where I land on this personally. So let's go ahead and jump in, Tyler, and let's show people what the Visalaw dashboard looks like, and walk us through a little bit what we're seeing here. And as we get started, if you could, let's increase your screen size just a bit. I know you've got
that's right.
the very impressive eyesight. I need some help.
That is right. Let me find the Zoom. My Zoom is cut off over here, Ian. Give me 1 second. Here we go. This should help us here. All right, is this better?
That's amazing.
Okay,
I can see that
perfect.
from a mile away now.
Well, cool. So yeah, what we're looking at here is our dashboard view of Visalaw. This is the view that we're first greeted with whenever we log into the system. And if you're familiar with other AI tools like a ChatGPT, a Claude, a more general AI solution, this probably feels pretty similar, right? We can log in and directly start to get to work here. Now, we're not going to be focused on this functionality today. We are going to be focused on drafts, as we mentioned. But this is where we would do all of our case preparation, all of our legal research, and any kind of chats that we want to run. If you are interested in seeing this functionality, I would request that webinar from Tuesday from Ian. It's going to talk more about our law library that we lean on. At the end of the day, to sum up this chat functionality, we curate our the largest immigration law data set in the world, and we build a closed off AI chat only searching through that data set and searching through the government websites specifically. So to put a bow on it, it's going to be the most accurate, the most robust immigration legal research tool on the market. And you can use it for much more than just asking questions, but you can use it for case strategy, reviewing your petitions, which we might talk about a little bit today, and really anything involved in the workflow of a case. Now, I do like to say anytime we're going to draft a cover letter or a brief, a waiver, this is not going to be the screen that we're going to use. We're not going to come in here, dump our evidence, and come in and say, draft our EB2 NIW. We're going to navigate to our drafting tool specifically. When I click into drafts, this is going to show us our draft library here. So these are going to be, and this is a little zoomed in. Let me make an adjustment here for us. Went too far, overcorrected. This is going to be our draft library here. So these are going to be all of the individual cases, briefs, waivers, petition letters that we've been working on, sorted by the date created. And you'll notice when we look at the status bar, most of these are completed drafts. So most of these are the drafts that I've completed, I've downloaded, we've processed, but I do have the ability to come in here and pull them up, make edits to any completed draft, download them again, et cetera, et cetera. While we're here on a demo, we're going to walk through the process of creating a new draft from start to finish. So I'm going to use this new draft button in the top right, and we're going to kick off a project. I like to note that the chat functionality that we started talking about on the first screen is a very open-ended tool. There are many different use cases that we can walk through. There's a lot that we can do with that chat functionality. Whereas our drafting solution is a little bit more, I don't want to say rigid, but it's more of a specific tool built for a specific purpose, which is drafting petition letters, briefs, waivers, right? So as we start this process, you're going to notice these 5 steps here. And as I click next, it's just going to walk me through each individual step with a very specific goal in each step to accomplish. So the first step is going to be to select the process type we're going to work on today. Obviously, we're here for the EB2 NIWs, but just so everyone can get a full idea of everything we do support, we support everything from asylum declarations, asylum briefs, cancellation of removals, E1s, E2s. We do EB1As, Bs, and Cs, EB2 NIWs, H1B NIEs, H1Bs, Ls, motion to reopen, O1A, O1Bs. We do 601A and 601 waivers. R1s, we do RFE responses, T visas, TNs, travel ban NIEs, U visas, and VAWA petitions. So this is going to be the full list of everything we support from a drafting perspective. So if anything catches your eye, definitely feel free to reach out to us. We'd be happy to walk you through the process and or send you outputs of each individual process type that you do on a regular basis. But we're going to select on that EB2 NIW process type here, and we're going to give this project a name. I'm going to come in here and say EB2 NIW, and we're going to be building a petition letter for Dr. Vega. So we're going to put EB2 NIW and Dr. Vega. In addition to creating the project and selecting the process type, we do have the ability to share this with individual users at my organization or my firm, or I can share it with everyone. I do like to note a lot of the customers we work with, a lot of the attorneys we work with will walk through this whole entire process from start to finish. But if you do have support staff, you can give your support staff access to Visalaw to do everything we're about to show from a drafting perspective and send it to your review at the end. So depending on if you're a solo attorney and you're doing everything by yourself, you can use this tool. Or if you have a robust team of immigration professionals, this can still match that workflow. You can use this to have your support staff, junior attorneys, walk through a lot of the drafting process and kind of share those drafts through the chain of commands. Once we have our name and our type filled in, we're going to click next, and that's going to move us on to the next step in the process, which is going to be the file upload step. As the name would suggest, this is going to be the step where we put all our supporting documents into the system. We have a few different ways to get documents into the system. As I talk about those ways, I do want to go ahead and get this process started so that we can have the system begin to process the documents. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drag and drop a folder of supporting documents in here, and the system is going to immediately begin to process these documents. And as we see, we have 15 supporting documents we're uploading for this case. In addition to drag and dropping or just selecting on documents from my local computer, we do have the ability to select on documents that have already been saved in Visalaw. We have the ability to create projects within Visalaw, which is very similar to creating a case within a case management system. You may have seen it on the workflow earlier in the demo, but in this scenario where you already created a project, you've already ran chats regarding all the supporting documents, maybe you're doing strategy, you're double checking to make sure that you have all the supporting documents for a case. Maybe this case has a lot of weaknesses and we need to go back to our client to ask for more documentation, whatever the case is. If you've already uploaded those documents for whatever reason into Visalaw, you can use this document tag just to select on those documents.
So there's a couple things there, Tyler, before we move ahead that I think as far as best practices go, when people are using the drafting software, one, simple enough, you don't have to select individual documents and pull them in one by one. You can create a folder, you can have them all and select them all. Just drag those in, save some time there, or they might already exist in Visalaw AI. And if you've already put them in once, you can probably find them again if they've been included in a project. In addition to the integration partners that we have with some of our case management partners, that includes Clio, that includes DocketWise, that includes, yes, thank you, INS Zoom. And we also have a partnership with e-immigration as well that doesn't show up on this screen. Works a little differently, but nonetheless is still a good way to use your documents, as well as our document management. And let me take us off the screen so you can see those: Google Drive, Dropbox, and OneDrive.
Yeah. It's kind of a good way of saying no matter where your documents live, we have a route for those documents to get into the system. And as long as they get into the system, we can start to get to work from here. We did get all of our 15 documents uploaded successfully. The system OCR'd or indexed each document so that you don't have to pre-OCR the documents before you upload them into the system. The system will do that for you. It's going to pull out the relevant content in these supporting documents to draft the EB2 NIW letter. So it goes without saying, but it's important that we do have all of our supporting documents uploaded at this step before we move on with finalizing the draft. Although if we need to come back and upload more documents, we do have a way to do it. But for the most efficient process, it's best that we have all those documents ready to go. Once we do have our documents uploaded, we're going to click next, and that's going to move us on to the next step in the process, which is reviewing our exhibit list and our index of documents. Now, foreshadowing a little bit, the system will put together the letter for us. But it's also going to put together the index of exhibits and the list of documents, the list of supporting documents in the same PDF packet. So this step is all about organizing that exhibit list to ensure the documents are in the appropriate order. Kind of walking through this step by step, we do have the ability to upload supporting documents for the AI to have context of and choose whether or not we want to include that document in the exhibit list. So if there is a document we want the AI to have access to, but we don't want to include it as evidence, we can toggle that on and off here. By default, the system is going to know where to use these documents. I don't have to come in as the attorney and tell the AI where to use these documents in the letter. But if I wanted to control that, I do have the ability to click this all icon or this plus icon, and I can tag specific documents to specific sections. So this is kind of a manual level of control that's optional if I wanted to tag documents to specific sections in the letter.
And so I'm going to pause you right there, Tyler, because this is, I think, an important note for people as they're working on these drafts. You may have been, and it kind of connects to legal research as well. You may have done some legal research that suggests that in the case of EB2 NIWs, that certain prongs are supported better by certain evidence, and you want to arrange those in certain ways for the reference letter. This is that step where you're going to be able to put those in the places that you want them in this letter. So this is sort of that first step of manual control you have in writing this letter. And so that's, I think, an important step in quality control. If you don't just want everything sort of everywhere all at once, or just letting the AI sort of decide for you, that is the sort of manual control you have there.
Yeah.
So an important, probably an understated step there.
Yeah. And if you don't want to worry about manually making those adjustments first, and you want to see initially where the AI plans to use these documents, you do have the ability to select all the documents, and you can click this create section tags for you. It's going to analyze the documents and determine which sections those documents should be tagged in. So if you want to use that as the first step and then make adjustments there, you can lean on the AI to do all that work for you and then manually make adjustments as needed after that fact. Now, we also have the ability to organize this list. So if I grab this icon over here on the left, I do have the ability to reorganize this exhibit list to ensure the documents appear in the appropriate order. I can also select on multiple supporting documents and click this create group button. This is going to group these 3 files in this scenario in a single exhibit. But I also can select all the documents here and just allow the AI to organize this entire list for us. So if I click that organize using AI button, the AI is going to intelligently order this list of documents and create those groups for us. And just like creating those section tags, I do have the ability to rename these groups. I can pull documents out of these groups. I can make any manual changes I need to after the AI does this initial sweep and organize this based on what the AI did for us here. I also have the ability to rename files. So if I were to click this top supporting document here, this job offer, I do have the ability to click rename file, and I can manually give the document a new name. Instead of that, I do have the ability to click rename using AI. And as we'll see here, the AI is going to provide this document with a new name based on the content of the supporting document. I do also have the ability to select all the documents at one time. I can click that rename using AI, and the system does have the ability to rename all the documents in one click for me. So very helpful step if we get maybe a folder of supporting documents that just aren't named properly, or they don't have names at all. We can use that rename AI button to name all of our documents in one click instead of having to spend all the manual time doing it one by one. Now, a couple things that I want to mention that we're not going to talk a lot about on today's webinar is we do also have the ability to generate reference letters. So as part of the exhibit list, we can use the system to create reference letters for us. You can create a handful of reference letters in just a matter of minutes and easily add those to the exhibit list. If you're interested in seeing how we can support your team when drafting reference letters, definitely reach out to us for a demo, and we'd love to walk you through that in more detail. In our scenario today, we're working towards the ability to draft the letter itself for an EB2 NIW. But in case you wanted to have Visalaw help you in just organizing the evidence, you do have the ability at this step to click this download petition bundled pack button, And this is going to put together the index of exhibits and the list of evidence in the same PDF packet, just minus the letter. So if for some reason you already had a letter written, maybe you're doing an adjustment of status and we don't support it from a drafting perspective, but it's very document intensive and you need help organizing all the documents, you do have the ability to dump all those documents in and use that download petition bundle option just to download the evidence. But now that we have our exhibit list reviewed, everything's ordered appropriately, named appropriately, we're going to click next, and that's going to move us on to the final couple steps, which is finalizing the draft here. On this next step, it's going to allow me to select the individual sections that we want to be included in this letter. So in the event I was not including every section I had available to me, I can pick and choose those from this list. But for demo purposes, we're simply going to select them all. We'll click next, and that's going to move us on to the case details screen. Now, you're going to notice there are going to be a mix of required fields and optional fields. As the attorney, this is my opportunity to come down here to make sure the information pulled from the supporting documents is accurate and it pulled it correctly. So I can check things like names, pronouns, degrees, just to confirm that all of this content was pulled accurately here. We do have some optional inputs, or this one's not optional, but the proposed endeavor is going to get pulled in from the supporting documents. If I wanted to add more information about achievements, I can add those in manually here. But these are going to be, again, as the attorney, my opportunities to confirm these case details. We'll put in my name and my title down below. I do want to mention the drafting process within Visalaw is almost identical from process type to process type. So with us showing you how to draft an EB2 NIW today, it's going to be the same process as drafting an EB1, an asylum brief, very similar to drafting an RFE response. This case details screen is going to be the one screen that looks different from process type to process type. Naturally, with EB2 and NIW case details being very different than like an O case detail, as an example. But once we have all these reviewed, we're going to click next. And this is really our last step before the draft begins to generate. And this is going to be our document settings. This is a lot of information about how we want to format the evidence for our petition packet. So the system is going to ask us how we'd like to refer to our documents for the purpose of citation. It will ask if we want to include an index at the end of this document and what that index should be called. It's also going to ask if we'd like to annotate our exhibit list. Just for demo purposes, I'm going to click yes here. This is going to provide a short summary of what every supporting document is in the index of documents. But obviously, if we didn't want that, we can click no. And lastly, but definitely a very important step, is the ability to use your own template. We won't talk too much about templates and how to build them. Again, if you're interested in seeing that and discussing that more, I would definitely reach out for a demo. But you do have the ability to create a template within Visalaw and choose which template you want to utilize when drafting the cover letter. When you do this, the system is going to be able to draft that cover letter in your voice. So it's going to be able to draft using your style of writing, your tonality, the way you position certain arguments when drafting the letters moving forward. And as mentioned, you get to upload as many templates for each process type as you need. Once we click next here, the draft is going to begin generating for us. I typically say, depending on the process type we're drafting for, I find it typically takes between 2 to 7 minutes on average to generate this draft. You can see that our project has been created here. The status is generating drafts. So instead of waiting on this to generate, we're going to jump into an EB2 NIW that I produced this morning using the same supporting documents so we don't have to wait. So once we click into that completed draft, we'll notice that we do have the ability to view this draft or edit this draft. The view mode is going to allow me to view the draft, but I can also annotate the draft from this mode. But if I flip it into the edit draft mode, it is going to provide me with a rich text editor here. So I do have the ability to edit this document from right here within Visalaw. I don't have to download this into Word to make changes, but I do have a download button here, and I have the ability to download this as a Word file or a PDF file. a couple of benefits of editing this document from within Word or from within Visalaw is I do have the ability to redraft this document section by section. I can select on specific text, whether it's one sentence, one paragraph, a whole page, and I can click this AI redraft button. This is going to allow me to redraft only the text that I selected, but I can give the AI redrafting instructions here. If I was not the final reviewer, if I was a paralegal and I was building this draft for an attorney that I worked for, I do have the ability to send this for someone's review. So I can pass this up the chain of approvals so that somebody can review this and ultimately finish the draft. But if I was the final reviewer, I can come up here and bundle this petition packet. I'll confirm my details over here. And once I click bundle petition, this is going to put together one PDF that includes the letter. If I scroll down to the end of the letter, it's going to include the index of exhibits here in the same order and organization that we reviewed earlier in the demo. And it's also going to include all the evidence in the same supporting or the same petition packet here. So we'll scroll back up to the top. A couple callouts. This is going to do a good job at pulling in statutes, relevant case law, and it will pull quotes from the supporting documents as well and cite back to those exhibits. As we see here, here's some quotes getting pulled in from a documentation about a patent. And we'll kind of start to scroll down so we can get an idea of what this produced for us.
Yeah, and so this is remarkable as you scroll through this. Just to underline the point, we have just put together a full draft that you can then move along into the editing review process, whether you're the paralegal and maybe you're handing this off now to the associate or the attorney. And they can provide some updates or provide the revisions, get a real full understanding with all of the evidence and what we have drafted so far, where to move forward with this case now. I think a real world example is, we would maybe take this and we have this drafted now. One thing that you do get is the redraft options. So maybe you hand this off and you need to you decide, the attorney reads it. He says, okay, this is good. Here's what, edits we're going to make. You could have also done this in the review stage process and shared that for review, but maybe you get to this stage and maybe I know some old-fashioned attorneys. I'm sure you do too. Maybe they want to do it by hand with a paper copy. That's also completely fine. And then you would come back and you would do your redraft as well. And you might need to add some client documentation as well. Maybe you decide you need one more letter, you need one more piece of evidence. Can include that in your next redraft, and then you get that, and you've got an updated copy there. So I think that's just one of the examples of how that may play out for you in a real workflow situation. But we have a couple minutes here left, so again, feel free to email me. We're happy to send you a copy of today's output as well. If you want to take a closer look at it, obviously scrolling can only do so much for you as you read it on the screen. So we're happy to hand that over to you and let you look at that. Just send me an email. Again, that's ian@visalaw.ai. It's in the chat. And let me know if you want that, if you want any questions answered that may have come up today. If you want connections to sort of next stages here, so some of the best next steps you can take if this is your first time learning about Visalaw AI would be to book some time with Tyler or Jack or Josh or Will and talk about how this looks in your actual environment. Probably working on EB2s, NIWs if you're here today, if you're watching this session. So that's something that we can show you and show you some of the prompts and workflow tips that can go along with the legal research side of things as well. But maybe you're working on H-1Bs, EB1s, all sorts of things. So we can show you in that one-on-one demo session how that works with your workflow, the different sizes that you're working with as far as your team goes. Maybe you're just a solo attorney and we can show you the best way to work with Visalaw AI that way and what plans might make sense. Tyler, obviously with that, the demo is really helpful, but you also get that 2-week free trial so you can go ahead and test it out. You're talking to attorneys every day. commonly, I'm sure you're getting them saying that this does accelerate their workflow. I know I've spoken to attorneys where that is certainly the case, solo and medium, large firms. You know, tell me what people are saying about Visalaw AI when you talk to them.
Yeah, I mean, the simple answer is cutting down time, whether it's cutting down time that we spend trying to stay updated on policies. It's an ever-changing space, obviously. So cutting down the time it takes, cutting down the effort there, but also cutting down the time it takes for generating these petition packets, writing these letters. For everybody that we talk to, that means something different. Maybe it means taking on more clients. Maybe you're having to turn away or refer out some clients or potential clients because you are too swamped. Or maybe that's just not working every Saturday in a month and getting time to spend more time at the house and with the family. So depending on what that looks like for you, I would say time is the big thing that we hear. And to your point, Ian, about the 2-week free trial, there's only one way to find out how much time it's going to save you. I would definitely recommend reach out to us for a demo. Reach out to us for that conversation. It is a risk-free 2-week free trial. There is no credit card needed to start the free trial. There are no obligations. So if you're interested in testing it out, we'd absolutely recommend it. And yeah, like I said, there's one way to find out if it's going to be a good fit for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get you in that demo. That'd be the best next step you can take if this is your first time learning about Visalaw AI. If it is not, if you are a regular consumer of Visalaw AI, if you're coming to these webinars really often, go ahead and subscribe to the newsletter. You can do that with the QR code here just above my head. And if you're a current Visalaw AI user and you want to get more out of Visalaw AI, sign up for a session with our CS team, our customer success team. They're there to help you, to help make sure that things are working for you, that you know how to use the product, and just give you some of the tips and tricks that some of the things we go over today, and just show you how to implement that on your real world scenarios. So don't be afraid to book 15 minutes. That's sometimes all it takes. But they're here for you and here to help you walk through your cases and make things work better for you, as is the goal with Visalaw AI, to help you better execute your judgment and better manage your workflow. So with that, I think I don't see any questions in the chat, so I'm going to go ahead and let everybody go. And thank you guys so much. Tyler, thank you for your time today. Emily, thank you being behind the scenes as well. And with that, we hope to hear from you soon. So don't feel free to reach out to me anytime you're ready. So thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.